Now, from the Cairo Radio News Center at MyNorthwest.com.
Seattle Police Guild president says that things did not get out of hand during a demonstration in front of his house last night, but today he did issue this warning.
If they approach my property with intent to breach my property line, with an intent to conduct criminal activity, to hurt my family, it's a different ballgame here.
Police Union President Mike Solon spoke on Cairo Radio's Dory Monson show today, responding to the everyday march to his door late last night. He refused their request to come outside and meet with them. Federal charges are now on the books against a man suspected of being part of a plot to trap Seattle police officers inside their East Police Precinct and set it on fire. Here's Cairo Radio's Diane Duthweiler.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says Desmond David Pitts participated in a pre-planned attack to block a door and set fire to the Capitol Hill police station Monday night. The U.S. Attorney says there is surveillance video of the 19-year-old piling trash against the door, lighting it on fire, and feeding it with more trash. The officers were able to kick through the door and put the fire out. If convicted of arson, David Pitts is facing a mandatory minimum of 5 years in prison.
No more courtesy warnings. Pullman police say that they will be writing tickets for people who attend parties or gatherings with more than 10 people. Whitman County has seen a jump in coronavirus cases since students started returning to Washington State University. Hosts of any such gatherings will get a $250 ticket for the first violation. After that, $350. Another big problem for Boeing. This time, it's a production defect in the 787 that could lead to a failure of the fuselage. Cairo Radio's Chris Sullivan has details.
8 recently completed Dreamliners have been pulled from service this week after defects were found in the tail sections. The space where 2 pieces of composite fuselage are joined was found to be improperly shimmed, and there were rough edges on the inner skin of the fuselage. Combined, those 2 issues could cause the airframe to fail over time. Industry publication The Air Current reports the sections were built in South Carolina, not Everett, where problems with the shimming has reportedly been a problem for years. This is a key point as Boeing is considering whether to consolidate the South Carolina and Everett production lines. A systemic production problem in South Carolina could help Everett's case.
Plans are underway to get skiers and snowboarders back on the slopes. Stevens Pass is preparing to reopen in November with new COVID-19 safety restrictions. Vail Resorts, which operates the ski resort, announced that it will require reservations now in advance this winter. Skiers and snowboarders will have to wear masks and social distance on gondolas and chairlifts. You can find more details on the Stevens Pass website. And now your weather. Sunny skies continue today with highs in the upper 70s. It's warming up right now, 74 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Miley Katie.
Stream Cairo Radio at home on your smart speakers, the Cairo Radio app, or MyNorthwest.com. Cairo Radio, your first source to know and understand coronavirus.
Got it. Here we go. On a Friday with Andrew in there. Wow, I guess Sean's still enjoying his vacation, and I see Chris Martin over there. I am coming to you from Cle Elum. Hey, Chris Martin, did you get the video I sent you of me and where I'm doing the show from?
I did. We're going to post it. It might be up right now.
Is it exciting?
It is. I looked pretty cool. I want to get invited up there.
I'm sorry. That will never happen. Tom, get in here. Break this uncomfortable moment for me, please.
You having a cookout at your Cle Elum cabin?
No, but Chris Martin just invited himself. That was awkward.
I'll sponsor Chris.
Yes, that'd be sponsored to get up here. By the way, I left everyone with a cliffhanger. What is in the bucket? Did you see that? So we'll have that. Plus, also at some point, we're going to do the know-it-all quiz. I think that's at 5:30 or something, Chris. I hope it didn't hurt your feelings. And you get a chance to win fabulous prizes, and we will ask you 5 questions about one topic that we covered. And it's very hard to do these know-it-all quizzes because so many of the stories that you and I do every single day, Tom, are COVID-19 or, riots and all the other stuff. So I've had to dig very, very, very deeply into the week, and man, it's quite telling. Okay, but you'll enjoy that.
But you're promising 5? You're promising
Yes,
5
because-
questions? Wow.
Jacob's not here. I don't want to put extra stress on Chris. It really seems to be taking a toll on him. So here we go. Hey, by the way, I think Chris Martin's going to, Sully's going to swing in here. Sully! Sully. All right.
fan back together. Young Andrew out there. I love it. We going into the basement?
How about that? With this crazy, maybe we might have to go into the basement. He's got this crazy Van Buren beard going on. Okay, hey, Sully, when I heard you had two topics, well, what do you think Andrew's got, Tom?
Mutton chop? Well, you said a beard. I just want to make sure. I think Martin Van Buren was known for his mutton chops, not his beard.
I've derailed the show to start, yes.
Gee whiz. Okay, Sully, so when I heard you had two topics, I was like, oh, no. But let's take care of Boeing quickly. Is this a follow-up to the story you had the other day regarding the Dreamliner?
No, this is something that's new and interesting, broken by the Air Current, which is a publication magazine run by the former Wall Street Journal aviation reporter John Ostrower, that 8 787s were taken out of service abruptly and grounded this week. A couple from Air Canada, Singapore Air, and United, because they found structural defects in the plane, something that they haven't found before, at least haven't been made public before. The 87 problems were with the lithium-ion batteries. And so this is something new, but what we did is we tied it to what is essentially potentially a race between keeping the 787 production lines in Everett or in South Carolina, because what they found is places where the fuselage are joined together and fastened together, whenever they don't fit properly, I mean, we're talking millimeters, small amounts of space, they fill them in with shims and they make sure that everything is fit properly. Well, it turns out that the shimming process was not working properly in these airplanes, and so there were gaps there that could potentially lead the airframe to fail over time. And we're talking at the fuselage joints. You don't want that part of the airplane to fail. And then also on the inner skin of the composite fuselage, there were some rough edges. These things are supposed to come out super smooth, and so those two things combined basically put those planes under what is basically not a safe threshold to fly from a safety standpoint, so they were pulled out and the repairs have to be made. So yeah, this is something entirely new, and all of these defective parts were made in South Carolina, not here in Everett. And so that's it's an interesting thing that if there's a systemic problem in South Carolina with production, that might help the case here in Everett to keep the line going. And this backs up something that we've heard for years from Boeing employees locally of the amount of rework that they have to do from stuff sent to them from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Can't beat you
now.
anymore.
Is it the... Well, apparently you can. So the question is it the production of the element, the piece itself, or the implementation of it, of putting it into the machine? Is it the part itself, or is it how they put the part in, Sully? Do you know?
Well, no, because what they do in this shimming process, it's done robotically with a laser and put together, and it's automated. And so, but I mean, the fastening part, when you put two pieces of the fuselage together and fasten it, that part, then they fill the area around that isn't exactly flush. And so at this point, it looks like potential production error with the way things were calculated, maybe the machinery, but then also they're having problems with the production of the composite skin as well, at least in these 8 planes that were relatively new. These are new to service planes by comparison of the thousands of the 787s that are out there, a little more than 1,000, I think. And so it's hard to tell if this is combination of user error, mechanical error, whatnot. But either way, all of these pieces were in the aft sections, the tail sections of the airplanes, which are built in South Carolina.
And so was this
the coach area, right? That's coach, right down back in the aft. That's the coach
so you don't
section.
care, John, when a plane fails, it doesn't matter if you're first class or not, I'm afraid.
Yeah, the tail comes off. And John, let's face it, this part of the airplane, from my best guess, I believe is beyond the passenger compartment. So this is where the fuselage joins the aft part, or it might be right in that general vicinity. But yeah, someplace you really don't want a failure to happen sooner than you would anticipate.
I got it.
And this flaw was found, this wasn't like an FAA inspection, this was found by Boeing itself?
Yes. It sounds like that. Then they alerted the airlines, and the airlines with in this batch number, they then went ahead and took them out of service. And it sounds like it's the combination of these things, not just the one that made it fall under the design thresholds they have for handling the extremes and stresses of flying.
Still good news for Everett, I'd say.
Well, it's good
yeah,
news for everybody that they found these regardless. You know?
Well, true,
Yes.
very true.
Yeah,
More fundamental.
it's important.
yes.
Right, Tom. So it's important to sort of have the big view on that, if you can. If you could try to be a bigger humanitarian.
Yeah, right.
All right, now, Sully.
You wouldn't mind as long as there were Democrats on that plane, would you?
Wow, that is not true.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
Some of my best
got that
friends
on
are
record.
Democrats. Sully,
Yes.
it's going to be a tough day for anybody on the roads this weekend.
Yeah, we've got something unusual going on tonight and tomorrow night. I-5 entirely, both directions are going to be closed between Federal Way and Fife. A 4-mile stretch of the freeway, both north and southbound, is out of commission tonight starting at 11 o'clock to about 8 a.m. tomorrow. Same thing tomorrow night. They're moving 10 220-foot-long concrete girders up and over the freeway as they're building a new interchange at 70th Avenue. So they need those 18 hours to move these things into place. So you're looking at a 24-mile detour if you're driving the overnight hours and plan to scoot through the Tacoma area up towards Federal Way. You have to go through Highway 18, 167, 512 down through Puyallup and around. They don't want you to use 99 through the Port of Tacoma at that point because that road can't handle a lot of traffic. So there's that, and then also tonight and tomorrow night, the northbound direction of the Ship Canal Bridge getting out of Seattle is going to be down to just one lane as they finally give that upper deck some TLC and fix some of the concrete that's cracking in the expansion joints there.
Okay, and that's just over the weekend.
Yeah, both of these events are limited overnight hours tonight and tomorrow night. To get this work done. They try to minimize this as best they could, but anytime you take the freeway out of commission entirely or shut down the lanes of the Ship Canal, it usually causes problems.
And
Now, is this going to cause a problem? Is this cause a problem for the protesters? Are they going to be out this weekend?
Yeah, there's several marches planned, but I don't think the area down the Federal Way Fife area is a place that they usually target, and the area over the Ship Canal Bridge, I don't think the police would be letting anybody near that anyway because of the obvious dangers of having people on that bridge over the water there.
Got it. All right. Question for Sully before we say goodbye, Tom?
No, I think that's good. I was just wondering, could they have done what they're going to do and spread it over 2 weekends by having one direction open and one direction closed, or is it just seen as more efficient to close both coming
Tom,
and going?
These things are the second largest girders that they've ever built here in the area to use, and it's going over both the north and southbound lanes of the freeway.
Okay.
Because it's going to become basically a new overpass of the freeway. And what they did by using the largest girders, or the second largest that they have, they've actually reduced the amount of time to just this one weekend. Normally, if they would have to have built a pier in the middle of the road and do 2 sets of girders to the center from each side, so this is actually reducing the construction time by using these large girders that are actually built there in Tacoma.
Okay. Aren't you sorry you asked, Tom?
No, I'm glad. Once again, government efficiency.
You're right. Thank you. That's why it's news. Thanks, Sully. See you guys. Out the door he goes. It's beer time for him. I'm sure he did the broadcast in shorts. That is his way. I don't think the president has ever been reelected when I forget what the unemployment rate is. It has to be above a certain amount not to have the person get the job again, and I think we are well above the number, the magic number. Plus, also the economy has to be kicking along at some rate. With 66% of the economy driven by consumers, people start to look at whether or not people are spending money, and as one might imagine, when you don't give them money for free, they don't have any money to spend. So U.S. consumer spending rebound cools just a bit as we head into the end of August.
Yeah, well, it looks like not just a bit. We had the last couple of months until July, it had been ticking up because everything crashed in April and May. So June and July, really soon we said, wow, we're coming out of this faster than we thought. But July hit a real dip. And now they're anticipating, we don't have the numbers for August since we're still in August, they're anticipating an even bigger hit. And the curious thing about that is Congress, which we just assumed would jump at the chance in an election year to keep the economy afloat. This is good for Democrats and for Republicans if they can keep the economy afloat through the November elections, that they would go ahead and put spending money in the hands of all the unemployed that don't have it, so they have those increased unemployment benefits, and that's not happening. There's a quote from Politico, a U.S. Treasury economist who just says, when you have $60 billion less going to families. You're going to have something like that, close to that, less in spending, that they're afraid that this is going to stall the economy, which had been maybe struggling to its feet.
Well, President Trump did do the executive order thing and wrote checks to everybody for $300. But if I were a Democrat, God forbid, I certainly wouldn't send money out. If I could stall and strangle the economy up until November, I would do that. Do everything you possibly can. Pull out every single state in order to get Trump out of there. And don't send the money. And yet what?
And yet, ironically, it's just the opposite. The Democrats have been pushing this since May, and it's the Republicans who've decided to try to be fiscally conservative on this. They're fighting the White House, and it's just sort of odd that that's the way it plays out. That the Democrats are trying to get this money out, and the Republicans, at least so far in the Senate, are holding ground. And the problem about this, and Trump tried to split the difference and say, okay, tell you what, I'll send out $300 under my executive direction. Right. But the states, only about half of the states qualify for whatever program, and none of those programs are up and running, so that's not going to get to us for a couple of months. So right now, when the economy needs that juice, it's not getting it.
Well, what you could do is you can go in and you can demand a huge amount of money, like Nancy Pelosi did, and then she can say, listen, hold on, they were offered, the offer on the table was 70% of wages. That was the proposed giving, 70% of the wages, and Nancy Pelosi says, no, that's not good enough. So what you could do is, I was fighting for more, and then at the same time, while I was fighting for more, oh, what do you know, November came around, and so sorry about the fact that you haven't got more money, but listen, if you do want more than 70%, I'll tell you what we can do right now. Let's get Trump out of there, because the economy's in the ditch, and the only way we can get him out is to get us in place. I believe...
Yes.
means, and we end up having to just wait until we can get Trump out of there.
Okay, so you cut out, so I missed the last sentence. But yeah, ironically, that's not what they're doing. She was just offering an extension.
Oh, just an extension to what?
The extension of what? The $600, it was the extension. There wasn't more, there wasn't less, it was just an extension. And the Republicans, some of the Republicans, because there are a few, and this is interesting, there are a few Republicans in the Senate that are trying to hold true to their fiscal conservatism, and it just so happens that they're all the ones, like Ted Cruz, that aren't up for re-election. The push in the Republican Senate for this to go ahead are the ones up for re-election. It's just curious that this hasn't come to any head yet.
Yeah, imagine that. I'll tell you what, let me give you some money and then you vote for me.
Yeah, exactly, but that's what you and I were both suggesting, that that's probably what's going to happen with the Republicans and the Democrats. The Democrats are always willing to give more money out. It was the Republicans.
Sure they are.
The Republicans were in favor of that 3 months ago, and now there are certain conservative Republican senators that aren't, even though there's a thrust toward it. And I don't think it's going to hurt Trump as much as it's going to hurt the Republicans who are up for re-election. Trump has already tried to cash in on this by saying, hey, I'll give you $300, basically out of my own pocket, out of my own executive power and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how this is played out with Mitch McConnell.
Why do you think Democrats, as you say, why do you think they're more willing to give more taxpayer dollars?
I think that we think government is there to help people in their hour of need, and during a pandemic, there is an hour of need like nobody's business because the economy had to be shut down for pandemic reasons. It's not the fault of anyone involved in the economy. It's the outside forces, and I think that's when it's like why you have a rainy day fund. You have a rainy day fund to get us through a bad patch. We would hope that within 6 months or 9 months, that bad patch will be resolved by a vaccine or better treatments.
Right. Now, I understand, speaking specifically to the historic destroying of the U.S. economy through quarantining the entire United States, you want to spend more money. You had both Democrats and Republicans doing that because they had completely screwed the pooch. But I'm just saying, just generally, the philosophy of the Democrats wanting to take more money out of the private sector and redirect it through the government. What do you think that natural tendency is?
I think the natural tendency is that we see government as a helping hand, and the Republicans see government as an intrusion. And that's That's why you want less government, and we tend to want more government. We don't want it, spying on us. We don't want the invasion of privacy angle, but we do think that government can be a service, work for societal good, and Republicans tend to see it as a societal kind of intrusion into their lives.
Right. Okay, well, it's a redirection, right? It's a redistribution of wealth, and you just simply say, well, you don't really need it. You don't need as much of that, or you got more than you need, or you didn't really earn it, or whatever it is, so therefore we'll take more of it. But the good news is we can take a commercial break and make some money on our own. Hey, by the way, Andrew, does the eagle poop today? I can't remember.
You're asking the wrong guy, John. I don't keep track of that stuff well enough.
Oh. Don't keep track of whether or not you get paid today. You know who the most desperate-looking person is? It's Chris Martin. Chris Martin, did we get paid today?
No time cards due today.
Okay, thank you. There's the corporate answer. Take a quick break and come right back.
Savings are here at Dania Furniture. Save up to 60% online and in-store. Hundreds of new markdowns on furniture and home decor. Hurry in for the best selection in-store or online at DaniaFurniture.com. 3 South Sound Mazda dealerships have great choices of luxurious new Mazdas. Beautiful interiors, highly acclaimed and wonderful to drive. Puyallup Mazda, South Tacoma Mazda, and Olympia Mazda have a great selection of the new 2020 Mazda CX-30 crossover with class-leading standard horsepower. Or Car and Driver's Top 10 vehicle, the Mazda CX-5. Both have 0% for 60 months financing and no payment for 90 days. Rediscover the road. Visit Puyallup Mazda, South Tacoma Mazda, or Olympia Mazda websites for details.
Whenever you do a home improvement project, you want to work with the very best. And that's Superior Cabinets in Tukwila. Custom cabinetry made right here at home. They use the best local contractors. They have free design and consultation. With Superior Cabinets, they are known for superior customer service, prices, and workmanship. Plus countertops and more. There's a reason they've been in business locally for nearly 40 years. Go to SuperiorCabinets.com. See what they can do for your home. SuperiorCabinets.com.
You can now hear Cairo Radio on radio.com. Live. Anytime, anywhere. Go to your app store or radio.com/download and start listening today. Take Cairo Radio with you wherever you go. Download the radio.com app today.
If you've ever shopped those national chains and big box stores for carpet and flooring, you know there's no service, no selection, and you'll wait weeks for installation. Discover the true difference at Carpet Liquidators. Our warehouses are full of brand name carpet and flooring, including Mohawk Smart Strand Silk Forever Clean, the most durable and easiest to clean carpet on the planet. All in stock, on sale, and ready for immediate installation. Carpet Liquidators, locally owned and operated since 1988, with 6 Western Washington locations. We're here